Hello, it's Imani, writer and astrologer, and we are back. We are back doing synastry on this channel. I took a break and took care of a few things, but I'm so glad to be back. And for those who have been keeping up with me elsewhere, you know it's my Saturn return. So I feel like I've gotten my life together enough to where I'm never leaving again. That's my goal. My goal is to never leave this channel again because I love hanging out with you guys. I've been checking in with the comments, and y'all, nicest place on the internet. I'm not even gonna front. Y'all are so kind, so respectful, and I love that we're just having conversation, sharing our stories. This is the place for lovers, okay? And we know 2025 is the year of the lovers. So yeah, crazy Venus retrograde just happened, but we're out of it. And we're in an all planets direct season, which means it's time to be back on the scene, okay? And no further delay, we are continuing the overlay series with ascendant overlays. And today we're talking about ascendant in the 5th house. Okay, so let's back it up a little bit. For you to be able to see someone else's ascendant falling into your 5th house, you need to set your birth chart settings to the whole sign house system. If you've been following along, you should know that I'm a whole sign house system astrologer. So if you're not using that system, you're not going to be able to see someone else's ascendant point falling into a house. So make sure that's set for you and then get into this series. So ascendant in the 5th house. The ascendant person is here to teach the house person how to harness their creative power. The house person is here to teach the ascendant person how to be unapologetically themselves. This is an overlay where there's just endless inspiration between you two. Of course, we know the 5th house is the arts. So if you guys are in that field together, it's very much I'm the artist, you're the muse, you're the artist, I'm the muse. It's so back and forth, and you guys really support each other in just elements of design within each other's craft. This is a very sensitive overlay. Both parties here are bonding over this shared sensitivity, the sensitivity to the world around them. One person in the relationship, could be the ascendant of the house person here, could be more emotionally showing than the other, or both are, you know, probably dramatic in their own ways. But because of this unique attunement to the world's energetic frequencies, these two are people that don't really have many friends. It's like they can't keep a friend for longer than 3 months. So these are people that can be really content in isolation or just with their like trusted two, and then they meet each other and they're just like, oh my god, I found a me for me. Like, finding each other is very much a blessing. Just, you know, you don't get along with a lot of people, so it's like when you find that person that it just like, it's like, okay, this is why my standards are as high as they are, because I know my capabilities and I'm not gonna just settle for any riffraff. Like, I'm gonna wait until I find someone who's at my level, as you should. But yeah, you find each other, it's a blessing, and after that you really do little else to try to form other connections. You're just like, this person fulfills everything, there's no reason for me to keep shopping around. Like, no new friends after that. Similar to the sun in the 5th house overlay, this is a couple that can attract a lot of jealousy. People feel excluded from their bubble and they can often take their actions the wrong way. The difference I feel like is with sun in the 5th house, people are actively trying to destroy your relationship. Like, they're plotting on your downfall. They make you choose between your partner or them. With ascendant in the 5th house overlay, because of this increased sensitivity to others' feelings, they make more of an effort to include their loved ones or just the people around them into the union. They make them feel as included as they can. They'll bring them into the inside joke. They just make sure that they're setting up situations where they can build a relationship between my crew and my partner. That way they don't have to feel so like in competition. And that helps to lessen the jealousy for sure. Like, people start to be like, okay, like maybe I can see how I was probably projecting there and just feeling threatened, like I wouldn't get to hang out with my friend anymore because they have this person who they're so in love with. Maybe there is enough space in my friend's life for me and their partner. But yeah, I feel like with all fifth house synastry, this is no different. This is a very fast formed connection, and especially with the ascendant in the fifth house overlay, you're just with all the time that you spend together, you're increasing the sense of good feeling over time, over the day, over the month, over the week. It just keeps getting more and more and more and more capacity for how much happiness you guys can brew between one another. But sometimes the ascendant person can pull a little bit of a disappearing act. And that happens either because they're afraid of the intensity, or it's like they begin to feel kind of uncomfortable, like, oh, I was so content being in isolation and now I've met you and I feel like I only feel this good when I'm with you. It's like I was good on my own, but now I have this strong desire towards connection. So the ascendant person, they can start to feel like a loss of identity as their desire for bonding with the house person grows. And as that happens, they can try to purposely stay away. Like, they pull back a little. Not necessarily ghosting, although, you know, could happen depending on how uncomfortable they are for real. But more likely it's like they just pull back, and like instead of reaching out first, they wait for you to reach out first. And like, depending on who the house person is, they might not care. They feel a little bit more secure in the bond and the just intense desires for each other. So it's like they don't feel insecure per se to be the one that's always reaching out first. They don't feel it's necessarily imbalanced to always reach out first, because it's like they know you love them. But perhaps you're just not comfortable with reaching out first, and I am, so I'm happy to take on that role. That's a house person. They're just like, whatever, I don't care, I love you, so I'm gonna text you. I'm not gonna let that be a big deal. As long as when they reach out, the ascendant person is still giving them that same energy, they're just like, okay, fine. But the ascendant person does have to be careful here that they're not just like hiding from their desire to connect with this person. The difference between the tolerance level of the house person is going to vary depending on other things that are happening in their chart. But if it happens for too long, as the ascendant person, you can end up pushing the house person away. So just watch out for that. With fifth house synastry, we talk a lot about the fifth house and the honeymoon phase. And with ascendant in the fifth house overlay, I feel like the key to a long-lasting relationship here is to not expect the honeymoon phase to last forever. With the other planets here, it's kind of like it's safer to expect that, but with the ascendant in the fifth house overlay, you have to be a little bit more realistic. You already know that you guys are just like so jokey, so jovial, so full of life, and due to life being life, like there's just gonna be bad days. So you have to accept that. And you also can't be on this like constant edge just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, even though you know there are bad days, you can't just be waiting for some like negativity shit to come your way, because if you're constantly focusing on that, you're gonna end up creating that situation within your relationship. So it's like, take the good times as they come, but if there's an argument, it's not the end of the relationship. Use that good fuel between you two to repair as you go, to get over those rough patches. But yeah, ascendant in the fifth house, this is an overlay where you're both learning to face your desires head on. And when you can do that, you really have this transformation in your emotional maturity. And that just turns into personal growth. So yeah, unlike the Sun and Mars in the fifth house, because of the sensitivity of this overlay, the planets in the fifth house, it brings this excitement, this spark, this fire. And ascendant in the fifth house has that too, but it's more soft, it's more gentle, it's more kind. There's just so much kindness in this one. You're just very sensitive to one another. I can't stress that enough. Random ad, this I feel like too is also just your social media bestie overlay. Like, you're always first one to comment, first one to like, you're putting on the heart eyes. And this can also be like your psychic friend, your tarot card friend who, you know, like she reads you on the weekends. Overall though, I'd say that this is the overlay where this is the person that holds your hand. This is the person that holds your heart throughout the rough patches in your life. So that's all I got. I'm so excited to be doing this again. It honestly makes me feel so alive to talk about relationships. And the next one coming up is gonna be Ascendant in the 9th house overlay. I don't know if I'm gonna do a weekly thing. I might just do it like upload the next one in 2 days and then the next one after that after like 8 days. We keep it sporadic, we keeping it spontaneous, okay? But yeah, again, I'm not going nowhere again, so expect the next video to be coming up soon. Tell your friends, okay? Synastry is so bad. And check the community notes because I'll do updates there on like when to expect new videos, just to keep the community alive, okay? But yeah, love you all and see you next time.